The new moon used to confuse most people. They thought that's when the month should start, that we should start the Islamic month from that particular date. And the new moon is totally dark. You cannot see it. It's not crescent. It's not visible. And we did not have information scientifically on our own as to how long it takes for the moon to stay dark before it becomes crescent, and a visible crescent should be 1% or more lighted. If you see your moon on 14th night, 14वीं की रात, you will see the full bright moon. But if you at the same time see the moon on 13th or 15th, you will not be able to tell much difference because they look basically the same. Because it's moving from one side to the other, and it takes it quite a while for this get away from the sun so that part of it starts to shine. I want to give you an example. If this was noon time, if the sun was right on top of you, and moon was right in the middle, and then earth is here, the moon will be totally dark because the sun's light is lighting up the surface of the moon that is on the other side. So we are facing the back side at noon time if the moon was up there. So we will not be able to see it because it's not even bright. It doesn't have a light of its own. It only reflects the light from the sun. Reverse that now for the new moon. It takes several hours for it to become crescent and visible. So we used to see information in the US observatory, new moon is born, and we wanted to start fasting, and it's not really Ramadan yet. Or we would do our Eid al-Fitr, and we still have to fast because it's not a crescent formation yet. The other difficulty is because Earth is a little bit like an egg-shaped, and in summer and in winter, the rotations of Earth and the sun and the moon are different. The sunrise and sunset is different. All that alters as to how much time is required after the birth of the moon for it to become visible crescent. So we have to understand that. So science had to become Muslim for it to guide us properly. And also we know that science is constantly learning and evolving and can make mistakes. Islam does not. Religion does not. Says, look at the crescent on 29th. If it's not there, complete your 30 days, and then you start your new month. So by visible crescent is what we start. Now I said all of this only to feel good because all of us mean to do what is right. Those of us who believe in that kind of a moon and they think that globally everybody should do the same day, if they feel it in their heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to accept it from them. But as you know better, and you know what is the right and proper way of doing it, it would be nice. So it's a constant process until it's finalized. People eventually will learn that you cannot have Eid al-Fitr on the same day of the week necessarily all across the globe, and all of you will be right if you are following your own horizons. Follow your horizons, and science has to really be able to know exactly as to when the crescent is visible, and they should be able to tell it to us. And once we do that, then we will be satisfied inside. But remember, all of this is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He wants us to have this kind of a little discussion once in a while, some believe this way, believes others that way, He loves all of that. For Him, it's a constant thing. He's constantly merciful to all of us. I heard a Imam, I was kind of laughing about it because here he was trying to object that some ulama have suggested that first 10 days of Ramadan you should recite this dua, and the second 10 days you should do that. And he thought that that was not in hadith, or that was not in Al-Quran, so this is not necessary. Little does he realize that this is for guidance of us. We are being guided, reminded that make dua. You can make all dua you want, but this basically somebody at least suggested it's helpful. We should not look for everything necessarily with the eyes that we have in Quran and say, if it's not there, I shouldn't do it. I can't even go into detail of that, but try to find something that is positive. And this is positive, mashallah. Recite all the du'as you can. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to accept it. And do as much as you can. If you can make suggestions that are positive, things that are good, just do those and feel good inside. If you feel that we should all have following Saudi Arabia, and that's what your heart says, then that becomes necessary for you. If you didn't do that, you wouldn't be happy. So do that as long as it takes for you to come to the realization that you should follow your own horizon. But don't think that the ones that you did before were not accepted, because you did them because you felt they were right. And that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's only desire, that that's what you should do. All humans are not created equal, and He created us. Everybody is not just as intelligent as the person sitting next to them. But then, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's design. These challenges will continue. Some of you will walk up to me and say, tell people to stop this thing because their phones are ringing. Don't realize that this is a human thing, it will happen. These challenges will continue to happen. Some children will run here and around. I feel very happy when there are children here, whether they are running or not, they are at least in the masjid. Others will start yelling at their parents. Don't bring the kid here, you can't control it. Don't.
Still use it?
If you would, please, yes, that would be nice. But again, be accommodative. Try to understand there are many different ways of people praying, many different ways of people feeling things right. They have every right to follow what their heart tells them. As they learn more, they will be able to adopt. And there is enough time. We did things when we were teenagers that we didn't do when we were fathers and mothers. And afterwards, when we became grandparents, the wisdom started to come. And we realized that we used to do certain things that we could have done in a better way. So be kind to yourself. Feel good inside. Whatever is feeling right to you, follow it and leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will, inshallah, accept whatever our desires are. But those desires should be sincere and we should be true to them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the guidance, understanding, compassion, and the ability to serve His creation. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum.